You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and Tyler, to Oilersnation Radio, episode 73. I want to start off, of course, by thanking our friends at Sherwood Ford Giant out in beautiful Sherwood Park, Alberta. Not only are they fine folks with excellent vehicles, service, prices, they're also very handsome. Every single one of them. Go ahead and follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford, on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _ Giant. And as always, if you see that Nation truck cruising around the city, snap a photo of it, tag us, tag Sherwood Ford, and hashtag it with Nation Truck, and you will be entered to win a $100 gas card. Why? Because you need some gas money. Sherwood Ford wants to give it to you. Just play along. That's how it works. Right, Tyler?
Did you say gas money or
cash money?
Hell yeah. We're beefing up the Roadcaster with some new buttons. Today, gentlemen, I want to start off with something that happened last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning because it's what everybody's talking about today. And I had to tell all of you to shut up upstairs so that we could get microphones in front of your faces to get the conversation. Gentleman, Zack Kassian gave Erik Cernak a little love tap, a little kick ski. He was at the bottom of a dog pile.
gave him a little kiss with the bottom of his foot?
Just a little bit aggressive. Have a little bit of dog pile. Maybe he was going on too long. Cass got had enough of it. Gave him a kick.
To be fair, a little push. He just gave him the blade. It wasn't the whole boot.
Fair,
right?
Yeah, he could have kicked him with the toe. Those toes are hard. I want to start off with you, Tyler.
All right.
Zack Kassian waived his right to an in-person hearing today with the Department of Player Safety. What does this tell you about what is going to happen to Mr. Kassian?
My favorite take I saw today online when it came out that Kassian declined his in-person hearing. Someone said, yeah, what do you expect? No one in the organization wants to go with him and stand up for him because they don't care. And I was like, okay, that's a bit of a weird response. But
that along with people saying that he tried to murder somebody last night.
Well, okay, and that's exactly it. I'm not sitting here and being like, kicking is okay in the NHL. He deserves to be suspended for 5, 6, 7 games. Elliot Friedman said he thinks it'll be 8. If it's 8, sure. But the people who went on Twitter after him were like, he should be done for the rest of the season. And like it wasn't that. There was no. I didn't see malicious intent from Kassian. When you look at incidents like the Pronger incident or the Chris Simon incident, the intent there was, I am going to stomp on you with a knife, with my skate. Kassian's was a get the F off of me. I just realized I could swear on this. Kassian's was get the fuck off me. And like Cernak didn't seem fazed by it. I think if there was malicious intent, you would have seen a much bigger reaction from Cernak and some other players on the Lightning.
Did he even hit him?
I think he did. You kind of see Cernak, like, his chest go back a little bit, but, like...
His head doesn't bob back or nothing.
For the Cernak who said like, afterwards he did, too.
Yeah. For the people who were like, he tried to murder him. Like, no, he didn't. It was a dirty play. It was really stupid of him. Like, he's got...
Very, very dumb.
He has to not do that shit. And he deserves a 5, 6, 7, 8 game suspension, and leave it at that.
It struck me as a lot of Flames fans that were starting up that he's tried to kill him kind of talk, and it's a little bit of they're still feeling it from the Tkachuk incident.
There's a lot of people that are just overreacting in general.
Absolutely. You see something like that, and it is a scary moment. We've all seen Richard Zednik gushing. Yeah. We've all seen the Malarchuk having to have his fucking vein held together by a bare hand. It can be a scary thing. I 100% agree though, Tyler. It was a reactionary move. It wasn't a I'm going to fucking cut your chest open right now kind of kick, but stupid nonetheless, hurts the team nonetheless, and it's frustrating to have happen.
Nick,
stupid.
Other side of the ledger, I'm going to go with you, my friend. You were passionate about it upstairs.
I think it's a stupid play. I don't know where we draw the line on what malicious intent means. I think players all know they have skates, they have blades on their feet, and if you're trying to, actively kick that blade towards another person, that's malicious in my mind. I brought it up the Pronger thing. I mean, Pronger just in general is more of a dirty player, more of an aggressive player in general, and always played on that line. And yeah, you could say that he intended to, cut or whatever. Was it Kessler he kicked? It was Kessler.
He stepped on something.
He stepped on Kessler.
Kessler,
yeah, he stomped on him.
Yeah, whatever. The point is that what Kassian did was idiotic, and we can again debate what malicious means. I just think that like you don't ever see players do that. It's not a common play that gets done. And yeah, Kassian should be suspended at least 5 games. It's just a stupid thing to do.
If you were Paros, how many would you give him?
Well, if I'm Paros, I don't want to get in that guy's head because I don't know how his head works these days.
Scary place to be.
If the NHL came to you, Nicholas Good, and said, "Okay, you make the call, Nick."
I think, again, I don't know how repeater offenses work exactly. I don't know what the real science is behind that, but like,
So what we got here is a kick. We've got a guy who was just suspended about a month ago.
And that's what I was going to bring up is he just had something go down. So I think that will factor into it for sure.
And he called out the Department of Player Safety like immediately after that one as well.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I mean, Bagmilk, you brought it up too. Like Josh Archibald is on the bottom of that pile and he's not swinging skates around.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just dumb. Intent aside.
Yeah.
You can't fucking kick somebody with your skate.
No, exactly. And we, Dan said it. What if he does go up a few inches and he does clip Cernak on the throat? It's a different conversation.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the what if game at that
Yeah,
point,
it didn't
right?
happen. I don't think we can bring it up.
That'd
then.
be like, what if Chara was 3 inches higher and broke Gallagher's jaw? Well, it didn't happen, so like...
Yeah, but...
Which is the interesting thing about this player safety and suspensions and fines is they're so random. Like that Chara cross-check to Gallagher's throat. How is that only a fine?
Yeah, it shouldn't be a conversation that we're going to have, but it is going to be a conversation that's going to happen because you're going to now be comparing an incident that happened yesterday. For those who missed it, Zdeno Chara cross-checked Brendan Gallagher in the throat and got a fine, a $5,000 maximum allowable in the CBA, $5,000 fine for it. And then a day later, Kassian kicked a guy and is going to get, 6, 7, 8, 9 games.
See, if I'm Kassian, I take that meeting and I go there right with that video and go, say, guys, this is what happened yesterday. You guys, this is a $5,000 fine. This is what happened, to me. Where is the massive difference between 8 games and $5,000?
Well, for me, it's the repeat offender stuff,
and that's fair. That's a couple games.
You give him 3 games for that, and then you give him 3 games just for fucking kicking a guy.
Unfortunately, like cross-checking is part of hockey. Like it is. It happens a lot.
Yeah,
kicking someone with your skates is not part of hockey.
But again, I still don't.
I compare them.
I see it more of being like
That's
he was
true.
trying to push off of him and push him off of himself.
Rick, he doesn't. He's not.
Yes,
pushing
he
up.
does. Overreaction, man.
stop
This
doing
is what
that.
everybody in Twitter
No.
did. Yes.
No, overreaction.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Let me speak, please. Overreaction is when the people are out there being like, he tried to murder him and stuff like that. That's overreaction. Saying that Kassian clearly cocks back his leg and kicks towards Cernak is not an overreaction.
He's pushing off of him.
No,
Rick,
he's
that's
not.
stupid.
He's
Yes, he
kicking
is.
him,
No,
man.
he's not, man.
It's
Like,
not
I'm sorry.
fucking stupid.
It is
It's what he's
stupid.
trying to push off of him.
Sure, by cocking back his
Okay.
1 foot, and it
Yeah.
is. It's just.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you can all you want, man. Like,
I just did.
yeah, you did because you don't have a proper argument to make because the video
Okay.
shows that he kicks towards him.
What would you give him, Rick?
I give him 5 or
Nothing.
6.
Rick would give him nothing. Rick,
I just
give him a
said 5 or 6.
Give him a $5,000
I
fine.
just said 5 or 6.
Fuck, man.
Fuck, man, what? I just said 5 or 6.
I just don't know how you can look at that video and be like, oh no, he's just pushing off.
Because you're kicking. That's the stomping is a kick. To me, he was just pushing him off.
To you, he was, but it's
Yeah.
not what he's doing.
Why? Because it to you is this different?
Because he's clearly like he's.
But that's to you. But that's to you then.
I don't know, man. It's just I don't know how someone can look at that video and be like, oh, he's just trying to push his way off of the guy.
No, if he wants to kick him, he's gonna kick him. There's gonna be some power behind it. He's gonna
kick him. There's power behind his leg.
That's like okay.
Well, there is. Like,
No, because there's different. No, because there's difference in punching too. You can push a guy with the hand, or you can turn around and punch him.
Yeah, the difference is we don't have fucking blades on our gloves and we're trying to push a guy off.
But that shouldn't be part of whether
But
you
it is
kick or
part
not.
of it, Rick.
No, it's
It
not.
is. Because that's where the danger
You can't
comes
take.
in.
100%. The danger's there 100%. There's no denying that. But in terms of kicking him or just pushing him away, to me, kicking is you're kicking the dude. You're Albert Hainsworth and stomping on a dude's head. You're Chris Pronger stomping on a guy. It was not that. He's trying to push him off. And because there's no reaction by Cernak, even he doesn't think he got kicked.
I just think
anybody gets kicked is going to react to it.
I think anybody that's been like held down in a position and stopped from moving, we've all had that reaction of wanting to get the person off of us.
And what do you do?
Yeah.
But the difference is
You flail around.
What do you do in that?
You
in that
flail
situation?
around.
I kick them to get off.
There you go.
But I have
you're not pushing against them. You're kicking them.
Okay, yeah, but I
Thank you,
don't
that's all.
have a blade on my sock foot or my shoe that I'm wearing, right? And so that's the difference right there. So
The
that's
difference
why
was that Rick said he's not kicking him; he's pushing him off.
I say that it's a 3 or 4 game suspension for pushing or kicking, whatever you want to say, with a blade, and then it's a 3 game suspension on top of it for the repeat offender kind of.
Personally, I stabbed a guy one time, but I was only meaning to poke him.
Whoa.
There you go. Right.
Has 7
But it
years
was
passed
intent.
between your stabbing incident?
It's just going to be interesting. Actually, I hope that this decision, although it'll probably be delayed, we won't get that lucky. I hope it happens while we're recording the
Mid-podcast.
podcast.
It won't. The hearing is in like 13 minutes after recording
Phone
this.
call.
It's at 2 o'clock. It's a phone call. And those usually
But what,
take,
like, to me, what I don't. Nick said it upstairs. I don't understand what's there to debate on this one.
Yeah, I would love
Push, kick, whatever it is. It's a suspension.
I'd like to
Yeah.
get a peek behind the curtain and see what a hearing is like, because I'd love to hear the conversation. Does it start out with, okay, here's the previous incidents that we've seen.
Can he
from
talk
you
his way
guy.
down? Is that what the
Like, I don't
interview's
know,
all
yeah.
about?
I don't know.
If not, then why isn't it already out there by now?
I don't understand why
That's
they
what I
don't
wanna
just.
know.
I don't understand why they don't just get like a soundbite that's like, here's why we're doing what we're doing.
Because those sound
there's
bites
nothing
are
that's gonna-
fucking horrible.
I
There's
can't
nothing that's
wait
gonna
to
change.
actually watch that video when they release it. This is why Zack Kassian was suspended.
Yeah.
As
At
you
this-
can see at so-and-so in the first period, he kicks a guy. And
At
you're
this
just like,
moment,
okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a fun thing to have to debate, but
Around the horn real quick so that we can finish this off. Tyler, how many games?
5.
Nick?
5.
Rick?
5 or 6.
Dan?
I was gonna say 6, but I'm gonna say 7 now.
Oh, doing Prices Right rules?
Yeah,
The
fucking
more we
bullshit, man.
talk about it, the more I want to go higher as well. But this morning I said 5, and I'll stick with it.
I'm going to go with 5 as well. It sucks. It was dumb.
They're going to
He
be
should
without their
punished.
entire top line, essentially.
He will be. Yeah, so that's what I want to get to next is the Oilers are missing some bodies right now. Obviously, Kassian is going to get suspended for the kick, push, whatever you want to call it, depending on which side of the argument you're on. He's going to get suspended, so there's one gone. Joakim Nygard has been on the shelf for a long time. Most importantly, Connor McDavid is out for 2 or 3 weeks with a quad injury. Like Tyler said, they're basically missing a top line right now. James Neal is also out with a high ankle sprain, which I was talking to Gregor yesterday. Apparently there was a setback, may have not even happened off or on the ice, according to Gregor.
Because he was skating 3 games ago before the game.
He was
Said it-
skating during the days, and then I think something
Yeah.
happened on Saturday.
Yeah, I think, high ankle sprains are tough, man. Like you have to really take care of those or you can get fucked up for a long time. So who knows? Who knows?
Especially for a guy that has, I think you mentioned it yesterday, Bag Milk, that a guy that has limited mobility as it is.
Yeah, I mean, James Neal's not the quickest skater as it is, so having a high ankle sprain does not help. All right,
Interesting note in all this, though. If he misses like another month, I mean, there's a chance the Oilers don't need to give up that 3rd round.
hey, because he has to get what, 21?
He's got to get to 21. He's at 19 right now.
Two
We're
more,
all going
right?
to have to revisit our goal predictions for him.
Yeah,
Because
we'll
he
have
has to get to
prorate them.
21 plus 10 over Lucic. The 10 is going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think Lucic is banging home
Lucic has
6
what,
more.
9?
No, he's got like
He's
5
six.
goals.
I think he's got
5 or
6.
I thought he had
I think he's got 6 now.
Oh. Zach Lang has his goal tracker that he does every time.
Zach also retweets that fucking Toto Africa bot all
I
the
had to
time.
mute that account.
Yeah, Zach retweets it all the time. I got to ask him about that. All right, back to the Oilers. What are our lines looking like? They just called up Dry Toast today. Marcus Granlund is back from Bakersfield.
Tyler was bouncing excited about that when he came in today.
I have a vision of Granlund showing up back at the Oilers wearing absolutely nothing but a fur coat and a gold chain and just walking in like he's the fucking man.
Just
I don't know why,
leave
but
it
that's
at the
just my
top
idea.
line there.
So right now-
Fitzmagic.
So right now, Tyler's got Daily Faceoff open. We got the top line right now, the de facto top line of Nuge, Draisaitl, Yamamoto. Obviously, that stays together. Those guys are hot as a pistol.
Which is rated as the number 5 top line of the league.
Yeah, when Connor was still in, that was the number 1 second line, according to Daily Faceoff. So right now, DFO has Gagne, Haas, Chase on as your second line, which... okay. Archibald, Sheahan, Kassian. Obviously, Cassian's going to go out, and Granlund's probably going to slot in there somewhere.
I'd put Benson on that line.
Yeah, this
Switch Archibald where Kassian would be, and then Benson in on there.
On the left side.
So that makes sense.
I think that'd be a good looking line, though, no?
Could be.
especially with the way that Sheahan and Archibald have been playing recently.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that one. Well, we'll get to why those two aren't signed because I assume that's going to be one of the next items on the to-do list. Fourth line, we got Jujar, Cave, Russell. Right now, this is a very depleted roster. This is a depleted roster. So where are guys slotting in? Let's start with Marcus Granlund. So you're thinking he's kind of in on that third line or fourth line? Where do you think, Tyler?
I think he'll start as a scratch for the game against Florida. I don't think he's going to play.
You're hoping.
No, like seriously, I don't think he's going to get in. I think they want to put Benson back in the lineup.
Probably.
So I think the top six we're looking at here on Daily Faceoff stays the same. Haas will be with Gagne and Chason. Then I think you go Sheahan with Archibald on the right side and Benson on the left side. And on the fourth line, you just keep it the same. Kara, Cave, and Russell.
I feel like this is, I was against it all along, but I feel like this is the opportunity where you slide Benson up into the top six. Not saying you break up that top line right now because it's the best line.
No, you get him on the second line there.
But you get him on the second line.
Who are you taking off there?
I would take Chason down myself.
But the argument could be, is there a difference between the Haas, Chason, Gagne line or the Sheahan, Archibald line?
No,
like,
but
which one's actually the second
The
line?
only difference
Honestly,
the only difference I see is that the third line might take a lot more heavier minutes.
Because to me, Sheahan and Archibald are playing. They're two of the best Oilers right now on a consistent basis for what they do on both the PK and on 5-on-5. So,
But when they're when they're out there 5-on-5, would they not be playing against some of the better competition? As a bit of your shutdown type of is that what's like? You guys have all the
I feel
all
like
their fancy stats on this stuff.
Visually, they were the second line for the Tampa game.
Yeah, they did. They played 3 more minutes at 5-on-5. Or sorry, 2 more minutes at 5-on-5 than the Haas, Chason, Gagne line. So,
well, they have more speed. I'd have them out there.
They looked really good against Chicago.
They did. I would have Benson with that trio personally.
But as long as Benson gets north of 10 minutes, then I think you're going to start to see what he can do. Otherwise, if you keep him at 5-6, it's useless to play anybody at that.
I think
he did 14 total minutes in his 2 appearances.
Yeah.
Tyler Benson.
He didn't look very good in those 14 minutes.
I didn't think he looked bad, but I mean, at the same time, what can you do at that point? You really don't have a chance to get going.
The only knock I had against Benson, I think, is you can tell I hadn't really seen him too much outside of AHL competition. He's not the quickest skater, so that's something he definitely needs to
But it
work.
wasn't like it held him back at all either.
He's made him a lot less effective.
He doesn't. It's not a pretty stride, but I don't think it's going to hold him back too bad.
It's by no means a Rob Schremp choppy stride, but like it's definitely something he's going to want to work on.
And look what Leon did after his first to second year.
You can
do that.
Whoever Leon went to,
They should be a part of the organization for life.
Yeah,
Could be.
Or it might be, and we just don't
Maybe
know.
it was David Pelche.
Pelche, there we go. I couldn't remember his name.
I thought he went over to Europe for, but either way.
Yeah, I think we have there's a female.
Yeah, it is.
That's a power skater.
I can't remember her name now. Damn, that sucks.
Because she was on the that show with Connor.
Yeah, she was.
You know, the
That's
biography.
Right. Yep.
let's
Whatever
talk about Connor.
takes.
So Connor last weekend after our last episode of Oilers Nation Radio, Connor, bad luck play. It was one of those just shitty instances where he hit skates with a Nashville player, fell into the boards, fucking banged his knee up. We were guessing what happened. Doesn't look quite right. Finished the game, didn't miss a shift, so obviously hopes were high. After an MRI, it came that he's got a bruised quad.
Started as a Charlie horse.
He was only going to take an extra day after the MRI. They wanted to shut him down for a couple of weeks. He flew to Toronto to get a little bit of treatment. He will be back when the Oilers are back from their road trip. Nick, what did you think of just a bad, shitty luck play?
I think quad is code for knee. Personally.
Really?
I think so. Bruised quad. I don't know. I've never heard that before. I think it's code for knee, which sucks. But I think the whole like, hey, he's only going to be out for a game. Oh, he's going to be back in 2 to 3 weeks, but probably closer to 2 is more of like a nobody put your tickets on StubHub, please, kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, they also did the same thing with Nuge earlier in the season,
Yeah.
right? When he had that hand surgery.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, he's only going to miss the weekend, and then ended up missing 2 weeks.
I mean, we're all hoping here. Jay brought it up upstairs that he's back in time for the Vegas trip. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It kind of reminds you in that documentary, you talked about like, I'm not going to stop playing my game. I'm going to keep going hard to the net because that's how I play. And then, but like, this is the kind of shit that happens. You wonder if right now Gary Roberts is like, see, Connor, you got to kind of like take the acceleration off a little bit here sometimes.
But to me, this one was just like, He just kind of hit some guy.
No, I know.
This was just bad luck. This wasn't a hard drive or anything like that.
This is what happens.
Change his game at all.
This is what happens when you play that way. Is what I'm saying. Is that like accidents are more likely to happen. You're more likely to crash into the boards. You're more
Not necessarily. You look at Ovechkin. That guy's reckless as hell, and that guy's been incredibly healthy all his entire
Russian
career.
machine never
he doesn't
break.
move
Right?
as well though.
Doesn't play
The same.
Ovechkin
style.
doesn't play
Nobody-
the same style as McDavid.
Bangs and crashes a lot harder. I'm just saying they're putting their body through the same type of stuff.
Yeah, but what
Look
I'm
at
saying is
Halsey.
a guy as fast as McDavid who's cutting to the net all the time, who's driving hard, you're more likely to get tangled up with an opposing player. You're more likely to catch an edge. You're more likely to hit the net or the post or the boards. So I think that's kind of just what happened. And we kind of have to maybe make peace with the fact that this is going to happen to Connor every once in a while.
You made an interesting point that I want to talk to everybody about is obviously with whatever it takes coming out, we saw that the organization was very much lying about the severity of his initial injury. Do anyone here think that they are lying about what's going on now? Or is it one of those things where they slipped one by us once, they're not going to try and do it again?
I'm going to disagree with Nick. I think there's no benefit to them lying about how severe it is. I think they actually are, if anything, shooting too high, like overplaying it a bit. If they underplay this thing, man, like I think about the outcome of if they say he's 2 to 3 weeks and he's actually going to be out 6, that concerns your fan base way more, because then people are going, oh my God, there's a setback. What did they find with his knee and all that? I think it's a 10 to 14 days thing. And they said, you know what? Let's just say 2 to 3 weeks. And that way, if the end of week 3 happens to come because there is a setback, people aren't like freaking out about how bad Connor's knee is, right? So I think they actually might have overshot this. But I do understand what you're saying, that there's not a lot of trust right now. And understandably so, right?
This is also like the third time this has happened. Like Bag Milk said, Nuge with his hand, Connor in the summer. And now with this James Neal thing, like sure, maybe he got re-injured again. But it's also like, we're not really getting a lot. And even with Benning, when he had his concussion, I know concussions are finicky, but it's like nobody really knows when anyone's ever really coming back with this team this season, it seems like.
I mean, they are keeping it real close to the vest no matter how you want to slice it. And
Wouldn't you rather have a team that keeps it close to the chest rather than shit leaks? I know I don't like the lying per se when it came to Connor. I think the Nuge thing, who knows, when it comes to your hand, that thing swells up. There's really nothing you can really do about it, right? Till you get the swelling goes down a bit and you can get a better look at it.
Well, and it's like the whole thing with the Whatever It Takes documentary. Right afterwards, what does Giordano do? We all got up in arms because he arguably took a shot at Connor's knee there, and I don't know. I get it. We're guarded as Oiler fans from a lot of things, and this is just another one of those things. But
I guess it's one thing to kind of be a little bit more mysterious with your fan base. It's a whole different thing when you're being the same way with your general manager. So,
that was like. See, I don't know if that was that bad though, right? Because you don't tell him till he's hired. You give him whatever little bits and pieces.
That's what NDAs are for, though.
That's bad business practice. Like,
Yeah,
that's bad.
That's fine. I'm not telling anybody what the hell is going on here. Once you sign the dotted line and stuff, we can talk after that. But
they
at the same
didn't,
time, but I don't think it was really.
But
even
he said it was weeks.
Yeah, but was he calling into it? Thanks. Was he calling into it? If he really wanted to know at that point, I think you'd find out.
I don't know, man. Like the minute that he accepts it, it's like, okay, and here's the deal with.
By the way, he may not play again.
Like that's.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's the level. Bag Milk's right. That's the level of injury that they were talking about at that time.
Oh yeah,
and
but
I just say anything
as an organization, I wouldn't have told him
in the interview.
Yeah.
But then the day after,
they weren't even the ones that told him. He had to find out from McDavid. Yeah. Like, can you imagine Holland on that conference call? Just so Connor training going well.
Actually,
what's a fucking hyperbaric chamber?
Jesus Christ.
Well,
I admire your love of this organization,
dude. No, everyone sits here and everything's so. Everyone is so, like I said upstairs, this is the overreaction era, and there's just so much of that. Maybe I do end up on the other side of it to try and counteract the BS on one side, but it's just.
Where are we overreacting though?
In general society.
But when Ken Holland admits that it was weeks before he heard it, and he heard it.
Yeah, but if Ken Holland wanted to know 3 days after, Ken Holland could have found out.
Because he didn't know to ask anything. He didn't know to ask anything because he didn't know that the injury was a thing.
You know more than that.
That'd be like if a guy sold you a car
he's injured.
and 3
you can
weeks
laugh
later,
at me all you fucking want, but
we
still.
didn't. We knew as much as Ken Holland did in that time.
That's fucked, man. Like,
We
that is fucked.
we were at the game. We were at the game. We thought his leg was broken. We were after the game. We thought it wasn't broken. Great. Then we heard, okay, it's a strain or it's a what did we? Or it was a tear.
Yeah, tear.
We knew it was
Partial
a tear, and so we thought, okay, that's not as good as a break could have been, but we thought it was an issue. The general manager of the team knew as much as we did.
So that last game in Calgary was on April 6th. And on April 13th, I had something up after the first update from the Oilers that says, McDavid suffered small PCL tear, surgery not required. And that was...
You weren't wrong.
Right in the middle of...
Isn't that when they thought it was a small
he
tear?
may never play again.
Isn't that right when they thought it was a small tear, though? Like, they don't really break down the dates on the show, did they?
No, and that's fine, but
So you
knew
really don't know the
we
exact
knew exactly
timelines.
what Ken Holland knew at that
My
time.
favorite part is that Connor's leg was completely fucked. And then the next day, 2 days later, he's at Professor Wem practicing the short game.
And playing
And he was
bocce
playing
ball. Don't
bocce
forget.
ball, yeah.
Don't
Love
you
that
forget.
bocce
He was
ball
playing
logo.
some bocce.
God bless him. He has got some freaky
He's committed.
genes. No kidding.
To lawn
He
games.
loves sport. Of
That
all
injury in
kinds.
Canada is rarely had surgery on it, eh?
PCL, well, I actually...
Like the way the Canadian health deals with it is more of a fucking rehab too.
And most times PCL tears when it splits right apart is from car accidents.
Yeah.
So that just shows how...
Oh,
hard
didn't they
Tyler
break that
went
down
into-
right away too? That was like a car accident for him. I stopped watching
Fuck,
those
he
highlights.
flies, man. What are you going to do? The guy's got rocket legs. We're going to change gears a little bit. This is depressing me. Connor, just come back to us. Be safe, buddy.
Next weekend.
You know what? I also hope while you're hurt for a couple of weeks, I know you're not going to listen to this. I know you're listening to the podcast, but not my advice. Just take a little Connor time. Maybe a day. Just one. Where you go out. Maybe you and Cam go watch a movie. Maybe you have a nice lunch.
He's
Little
got to do something
cocktail?
for Valentine's Day though.
This is his brother's 10-year anniversary.
Lauren, you take care of him today. All right?
Please.
Please.
I thought for sure you're going to skip the dishes ad.
Well,
It's coming.
that's coming.
Like, oh man.
I don't know if they have it out in Toronto, do they?
Valentine's.
They don't deserve it. They don't deserve skipthedish.ca. But what I want to talk about first is Sherwood Ford's giant question of the week. Tyler, what do you got for
Giant.
Tyler? What do you got for this week's giant question of the week?
This week's Sherwood Ford Giant Question of the Week is... How many goals will Kailer Yamamoto finish the season with? He has 7 in 16 games right now, and I have the over-under set at a total of 19.5. Will Kailer Yamamoto, despite not being recalled until December 31st, finish the year as a 20-goal scorer or not? The table, your thoughts.
Let's think about this. So he's
Wow.
got 7
That was-
goals,
wow.
16 games played. The Oilers have 25 games left on the season. Nick?
He's on pace to do it.
He's playing well.
But that's a
Another
heater,
2-goal
though.
game, though?
That's a heater.
I took the under on James Neal earlier in the season, and I'm going to take the under on Kailer Yamamoto.
You're a fucking hater.
It's not. It's
Yeah,
not
they
to
wanted
say
him
that
in.
I,
They wanted him in Bakersfield
It's
all
not
year.
to say that I don't
They wanted him in
want.
Bakersfield till he was 27.
welcome. We made
we said
Kailer
after, we said
Yamamoto
till
who
after
he is.
Christmas.
Oh, here we
after
go.
Christmas.
You're welcome. Rick.
Christmas when Santa Claus sprinkles that fairy dust on you that makes you able to play in the NHL.
Man, what?
What
Okay,
the
no, we're not getting
fuck
into
is
this yet.
this?
He could have been
Answer
ready
the
to
damn
go.
giant question. Answer the giant question.
Under.
Under?
Yeah.
What
He's
is
at
it?
Oh, I
95?
selling him short, everybody.
19 and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like selling him short. I was about to say he'll probably get like 17 goals. He's
Can we
just not
call
gonna
this
get 20.
podcast Nick versus Rick?
Oh, it's just like insane, man.
I'm loving this.
holy
I love that.
shit.
For
Holy
people that
shit.
don't know, Nick and Rick sit right next to each other. Like everyone else is spaced out a little bit, but the two of them are like shoulder to shoulder while doing this.
it's like
And they love each other off the podcast.
I can't be like kind of reasonable with the take. It's like if it's not what Rick wants. It's like, man, you're underselling the guy.
There we
You just
go.
want you think the guy
Overreaction
sucks?
era.
He's
Overreaction
not getting
era.
20 goals.
Here we go.
You don't think he can get 20
Overreaction
goals
era.
in 16 games? He sucks.
One at a time.
So
guys.
he needs 12 goals in the next 25 to get to
hard
19.
to
That
do.
makes it sound
That's
doable.
really
but-
hard. That's like a
But that's
40
hard
goal
in the
pace.
NHL, man. Like,
Well, but he's going to be on the top line for the next 7 or 8 games. Sure.
And he might get some power play here for the next considerable
He is
bit.
running the power play right now.
Rick,
He's in the
I know,
power spot.
I know your answer, Rick, but explain it.
No, I don't think he will.
Oh, really?
oh, selling him short.
I've been backing the guy all year,
selling him
brother.
short.
I've been backing him all year long.
You think he belongs in Bakersfield?
Do you think he gets close?
You're selling him just
Yeah, I
like
can see
his
him being north
stature.
of 15. Yeah.
I would say 16, 17 still doable. Like you made it sound like the 12 and 25. I know it sounds daunting, but like I said, the guy's playing top line minutes. That line is producing right now. Connor comes back and then they take a little bit of pressure off them. So I don't know. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but Visibility.
Your
rough.
voice is on an adventure.
It's rough today.
So you taking the under? Everybody taking the under so far?
Taking the under.
Bag milk?
Really? Well, I kind of want to go with the over just to be different. Although, like I said, 12 goals in 25 games that's a tall order for a fun-sized man. And I just don't know if it's going to happen.
So to fix it then, where would you say the line would be then?
15-5.
Ooh. Yeah,
he's at
over.
And he's at what right now? 9?
He's at 7.
7.
Why do I think everybody's at 9 goals? I don't know. There you go. He's at 7 goals now, so 15 and a half.
Yep.
I'd take the over.
I'd take the over.
I'd still say under.
Really? You don't think he's going to
You think he hits 15?
And like here I am being positive, but at the same time I'm like, I don't know.
It's hard, man.
It's tough.
Scoring goals in NHL is not easy to do.
Yep.
Yeah, but when you're playing with Leon Draisaitl, man,
That's a good point.
scoring goals gets a little
And Nuge.
Remember when the narrative always used to be like, yeah, well, when you're Leon Draisaitl playing with Connor McDavid, it's different. Now all of a sudden Draisaitl is doing his thing.
you know
that
what's
everyone
weird,
said
though?
he would do is drive his own line.
You're exactly right, but the weird thing is now that the goalposts have been moved, where people are like, "Well, yeah, but Draisaitl's playing with Nuge and Yamamoto,
Yeah.
so like, can you really
Actual
count
top
it?"
6
You're like,
wingers.
You need
Like
how
an
a
actual
top 6
fucking top
should
6
look.
line.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. People just love. I don't know why.
And no one will ever sit there and be like, yeah, fucking David Pastrnak gets to play with Bergeron and Marchand. It's like, no, everyone around the league talks about what a dominant line it is. But as soon as it's
Exactly.
an Oiler, it's like, well, let's discount this a little bit. I agree.
And it's also
Specifically with
funny-
Leon too. I don't understand why Leon specifically takes so much shit. Like the guy is running away with the Art Ross right now, running away with it. Yet
He could be
people
at
will.
100 points by the end of the month.
Yet people are still being like, "Oh well, I don't know. Leon's not playing very well." Like, brr, brr, brr. Like, what are you talking about, man?
I think it's easy to do when you have the best player in the world on the team, right? So it's just like they're going to downgrade everybody else because it's just the thing to do. It's like I don't think anybody thinks of Malkin as being like otherworldly.
I kind of do.
No, I
But he is.
Except
Well,
that he is.
Hey, you're
But-
talking about
but
the
you-
101st best player in the NHL.
But you put him behind
NHL history.
You're putting him behind Sidney Crosby, right? And it's like it's easy. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily the case.
Like Malkin's won Art Rosses and Hearts and Conn Smythes. Though.
yeah, and I think Leon
Sid's
will
got
by the
that
end of
big
his
old
career
butt.
too.
Sit thick.
That's
Sit thick.
I think
he's
I think
got
by
that
the
big
end
old
of
butt.
I think by the end of Leon's career, he's going to have those kinds of things as well.
I mean,
well, you hope so. That's the
and we'll
hope.
look back and say, like, remember the time when people would discount what Leon did because of Connor.
Well,
The same thing that people did to Malkin when Crosby was healthy. And
I
better.
think right now is Leon's kind of coming out party with
Yep.
Connor out. The Oilers desperately need wins. He comes out that first game against Chicago, puts up four points.
Casual.
Just ridiculous.
Oh,
this
but
guy
their
right now.
power play points.
Yeah, and their power play points.
Yamamoto's carrying him.
Yamamoto is the answer.
I thought it was Nuge that was carrying him.
You know, all these years we talked about the answer. Kailer Yamamoto actually, like, as much as that was our joke for a long time,
Yeah.
he's legitimately the answer.
Yeah, he legitimately. As much as Riley Sheahan wants to be the answer, he's just, it's Yamamoto.
I think there's like something more romantic about Riley Sheahan than Yamamoto.
He's pretty dreamy.
Just because Rick has been begging for Yamamoto this whole time.
Hey, but I've attached my wagon to 3 players this year.
Oh,
Tyler Benson.
Who's the third one?
Caleb
Benson
Jones.
hasn't had a chance yet, but Bear, Jones, Yamo.
You can't
Tell me I'm wrong.
Hold on. No, you
You're not
can't just take
claiming
ownership
Bear
of Bear
from us.
No,
So go
you
back
can't
to the
have him.
fucking original episodes of the season.
Bring the tape
You're
up.
not claiming Bear from us. There's no
What's this us
chance.
shit? I had a fucking Bear jersey before the fucking first Friday game. Go back and listen.
It's
I
true.
was on Bear starting the year here.
I like
we all
but I like how you put yourselves, and I respect this about you as a podcaster, Rick. You put yourself in positions where you can never be wrong. Because if Jones isn't up here,
No,
you're just
hey,
like, you're
I've
not giving him. Benson
No,
comes up, you're
I've
like, not even giving him a
I have
chance.
backed Kara all year, and I've been extremely wrong with Jujar.
Yeah, Jujar needs
I
to swing
respect
the
that you're
hammer.
giving yourself some
Okay, yeah.
call out there, but yeah, when it comes to backing rookies, it is easy to just say, well, the Oilers didn't give Benson his chance.
Oilers never gave Puljujarvi a chance. Well, I mean, not a lot of guys like playing with him, so
I stand by my comment.
Respect it.
And I stand by our friends at Skip the Dishes.
There it is.
There it is.
They are wonderful in the service they provide. Tonight, it's Valentine's Day. And for the single folk like me, what
I
I'm
was
going
just
to do
gonna say.
is I'm going to treat myself right. I'm going to go and skip the dishes. I'm going to find maybe a couple of different spots. I'm going to order myself a feast. From there, I'm going to eat like a gluttonous pig with my sweatpants on and no shirt on. Picture it, people.
treat yourself like Reese McGuire would.
No.
No.
Could have eaten your car then.
Yep.
Skip the dishes.
I will not be eating in my car.
Doesn't carry your status, your relationship status.
The important part is timing it right so that your delivery drivers get to your house when you're ready for the next course. I know that's Rick's move.
I like it when they show up at the same time.
No.
They get to give each other the nod on the porch.
No, it's awkward. And
I had that happen the
at
other
the
day.
same time.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I ordered, what the heck did I order? Oh yeah, Donairs and then wings from two
you just
different
get
places.
Donairs and wings?
Yeah.
You can't expect a Donair place to know how to do wings right.
And
And vice
that's
versa.
fair.
Okay.
So I
You want
ordered
top
it.
of the top. You're
got
going
the
to different
wings.
places.
Sounds
Got
like
the
a
wings.
business concept to
Closed
me.
the doors. Turned my back, and the doorbell rang again.
Don't take Nick's idea of Donairs and wings by Nick. Oh, good wings and Donairs.
There you go.
Wait, are you
No, they
taking
have those-
Donair and wings from me?
They have
you
those
can't claim
ghost-
that from me.
They have those ghost kitchens now.
Go
that
back to the
fucking,
original episodes. I was on it first, Dan.
You can laugh all you want. I'm right.
You are also right about your love for skipthedishes.ca. They are fine producers of food for those of you like me that cannot cook.
Can you not, or do you choose not to?
Both.
Yeah. Okay.
Both. Like I've got like a repertoire. Let's say 5 items.
Cool.
I'll crush those 5 items. But there's only so many times that I want to eat a stir fry. You know what I mean?
Sure. Hey, nothing wrong with a really good stir fry though.
I make a good stir fry.
I have to say, Skip, you're killing me. I ordered Skip the Dishes in Calgary. I ordered a shawarma when we were down there last time.
Nice.
And they just sent me an email being like, you thinking about that shawarma you got in Calgary? And I was like, I fucking am. And I can't have that delivered to Edmonton.
Love me a good shawarma. And I love skipthedishes.ca. Right? Tyler?
Yeah, stop paying attention. I love Skip the Dishes, though.
Tyler, do you recline your seat on an airplane?
I don't fly very often, so this is a debate I usually don't get into.
Are you going to recline your seat on the way to
Yeah,
Vegas?
when we go to Vegas.
No, like I'm a guy like I never go
You're a
on
lanky man.
I know, but I never go on long flights. So like for me, it's like 3 to 4 hours, and I'll put on a movie and sit there, and I don't need to recline my seat and all that.
Are
shit.
you the kind of guy who watches new movies, or do you like rewatch a movie on the plane?
Or are you a map watcher?
I am a map watcher. I do.
I like a
enjoy
map watch.
I like a good map
I
watch.
flip to the map.
But I'm a big bring the tablet, download some shows on Netflix.
I just bought myself a nice little keyboard for my iPad so that I don't have to bring a laptop to Vegas. I'll just bring that. It'd be nice.
I'll probably bring a laptop, but I'll also bring a tablet. Bring all the tech because we're gonna be. I mean, don't tell the government, but we'll be recording podcasts down there.
Not sure what you're talking about.
Cut that out.
I won't be.
Cut that out.
Cut it out.
I mean, I won't be doing that.
Cut it out right fucking now.
I mean, not me.
Somebody at C.
The CIA?
Yeah.
Someone ats the CIA.
Uh-oh.
You mean CSIS?
I was trying to think of
has
what
joined the
our
conversation.
Canadian Border Patrol would be.
The CBS.
There we go.
Hey, did you? No, we're not going to get into.
No, okay, we are not. I am like contractually not allowed to get into that piece.
Since our last episode, a couple other items on Ken Holland's to-do list have been taken care of. Last week, we talked about, do you go short-term or do you go long-term with Darnell Nurse? And this week, we got the answer with a 2-year contract with an annual average value of $5.6 million. Nick, I want to start with you. What were your initial thoughts on Darnell Nurse's contract? 2 years, 5.6.
I loved it. I thought this is exactly what they should have done. Take him right up to free agency, which is weird for some people might think it's kind of weird, but I don't know. I've always liked Nurse. I liked when we drafted him. I liked kind of what he brought. You know, we've talked about like a little bit of an edge, some offensive ability, good skater, but I kind of think he is what he's going to be now. He's what, 24, like 25. Tyler, do you know?
He's 25.
25, yeah. So I kind of feel at 25, you're kind of the player you're going to be. And I don't really see him getting that much better. So there's a concern that if he gets up to 27 and he gets to free agency, that, now all of a sudden he's going to be worth way more. And we could have locked him up in sort of like a Clefbaum style deal. I don't really see that happening. It's great that, you know, him and Connor and Leon are friends and that's all nice and all that kind of stuff. But but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you have to make business decisions, right? And like, you're not going to lock up a guy long term if he's, you know, not going to be the guy you project him to be.
And like they always say with defensemen, is it for forwards? They say 200 games, you sort of know what you're going to get.
Defenseman's 300 or so,
defenseman's
yeah.
300. Okay, well, Nurse is at 336 now.
Yeah.
Like even if he gets better and improves his ability to pass the puck a little bit, thinks a little bit better in his defensive zone.
When does that happen though?
Yeah, and there's that. And even if he does, I don't think he's still in 2 years. I don't think he's magically a $7.5 million
I don't
defenseman.
either.
And at that point, sign him for $6.5. Then, if you really want to go long term with him and you want to keep him around. I didn't see the value in going long term with him right now either.
Rick, thoughts on Daryl?
I think he's a contract that would have been movable if you did take him into a 5-6 year, but I don't think he would have wanted to sign at a number that we would have been comfortable with. Like, I don't think I would have gone north of 6.5 right now. He's betting on himself, and I don't think he's going to really win that, just because I don't see him getting a lot of offensive minutes once Bear and Bouchard and Clefbaum are rolling all at the same time. In his defensive zone, he's got issues. Everybody's seen it before. Everybody can see it now. So maybe he is able to tighten those up a bit. He'll probably get up to, if he went UFA, he could probably get up closer to $8 million come then, just because there is the inflation in the
and that's what they do.
in the cap, and then it's UFA, so it's a bit of a bidding war.
More people sign, true, but
you know what, he's a big part of the team off the ice, and that's, you really can't measure that stuff, but I think that stuff's very important. So keeping him here for a couple more years it's a win-win for us.
Daniel?
Yeah, shout out to Tyler for posting our promo for the podcast right before they announced it.
That was great timing.
Yep.
It actually reminded me of once upon a time, Chris the intern, RIP, posted an article about will Leon Draisaitl sign with the Oilers, and right as he pushed post, they released the contract details. It was great. People made fun of Chris a lot. So did I. Anyway,
I tweeted it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I scheduled those out.
Nice.
So it's complete fluke.
That was good. No, it was. It made me look like an idiot because I said trade him away. I wasn't unhappy with the contract number. Like, I think it's
What
important.
Do you mean? Term or money or both?
Term, I guess part and parcel, right? Just because if you give him a longer deal, you're going to be paying him more money. I think the important thing for me is being able to have room for the next offseason. You still have to sign Nugent Hopkins. I really want Nugent Hopkins. I think I'm the biggest fan of Nugent on this panel.
Probably.
I will street fight you.
But even Nuge can't get that much of a raise.
No,
maybe
but
7.5.
That's
Seven
what
by
I'm thinking,
seven.
But I think that Nurse's number was going to start to push into that if we did go longer term with him. So it's
if he got what he wanted, probably, right? Because he probably wanted closer to 7.5. If he got the Edmonton version, probably be closer to 6.5. Well,
I was going to say, Tyler, his photo just makes me. He's very happy.
Tyler's
He's
bringing
happy to be an Edmonton Oiler.
Since we're on a podcast, Tyler's bringing up Darnell Nurse's picture, and he's bringing it in real tight. Real tight. To me, the weird part about this contract is it shows that the organization isn't, I mean, this is just my take on it. It shows that the organization doesn't know what he is yet. Yeah. You would think with a guy with 336 NHL games on his resume, you'd either know whether you're going to go long-term or what just happened there?
I internalized a sneeze.
Dad is having.
Oh, you were crying.
No,
seizures.
weeping about the Darnell Nurse signing.
It's interesting that it takes him right to unrestricted free agency as well. So to me, I said this on the Real Life podcast on Monday, it's almost like you really have the rest of this year and next year to make your decision on Darnell Nurse, because if you are going to trade him in that last year before free agency, you're going to want to do it with probably a full year left on it to maximize what you get back.
Imagine what he'd be as a rental.
Yeah.
Also, doesn't the Seattle expansion come into play there too?
It could potentially.
No, because the draft will be before his contract expires.
Right, but I mean, if we had him long term, then he's somebody that Seattle's going to want to go after, whereas necessarily they may not want to keep him or take him from us.
I think another part of this, I know Dusty wrote about the cap situation and all that, but right now, every $1 million really counts for this team because it's going to be really tight this summer. So another part of it might have just been Ken Holland going, you know what, saving that $1 right now, even if in 2 years it costs me another $500K on the long-term deal, saving the $1 million right now is worth it for him, because like if the cap stays flat at $81.5 million and like the Oilers are only gonna have like $11 million cap space, and they got a lot to do with that. They're gonna have to trade some really bad contracts. So I think saving the $1 right now is something you need to remember in this too.
Well, and you need that extra $1 million to sign Joakim Nygard to an $875,000 1-year extension. To me, that was a weird one, just because it was like, okay, I get it, you like him, but like, why?
I think it's cost certainty, and I don't mind that at all from Holland to be able to look at your cap situation for the summer and be like, you know what? Getting this guy for $800K, that's essentially league minimum, even if he's their extra forward. Meh. And what I want to see next, I want to see them sign Archibald and Sheahan, because if you can get Archibald and Sheahan done, like I think Sheahan would probably cost you $1 million. Let's say Archibald costs you, 1.2, a slight raise?
Sure.
I think a competent fourth line is Sheahan, Archibald, and Nygard. Well, even if they're your third line, you're not probably hating it.
And just having consistency is important too.
I think what it shows too is that Ken Holland is working on things. Ken Holland is picking away at the roster and tucking things in. I think the timing was a little bit like, Connor goes down with an injury and everybody wants another winger, another forward to come in, and here we are re-signing Nygard, and people are like, well, what's Ken Holland doing?
Well, I always thought that was funny too, because I'm sure he just started this conversation this morning.
Exactly. So yeah, the contracts have been going on. You hope that Sheahan and Archibald are soon to fall behind that domino. And
imagine that's what the press conference was for. It's just like, we like to announce we re-signed Joakim Nygard to a 1-year contract.
And then right at the end, he just goes, by the way, guys, McDavid's out 2 to 3 weeks. I got to run, though.
Yeah.
So Archibald this year was on $1 million even, and Riley Sheahan was at $900,000. So
where do you think those contracts go?
Tyler just said.
No, I know, but I'm asking everybody else.
I mean, a modest bump.
Yeah.
Let's say 1-1 for Archibald, $1 million for Sheahan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
maybe give him a 2-year deal.
Who?
Both of those guys?
Yeah, why not?
If they want, you can put them in the AHL.
If you can get
they're
them
solid depth players.
Their whole contract goes away if you put them in the AHL.
I was going to say, if Archibald would sign 2 years at 1.1, I would do it.
Yeah, I
would do
would
it in a
too.
heartbeat.
I like Archibald. He's like a little bundle of hate.
It's interesting too that Nygard took a pay cut. I just thought that was kind of weird.
I think he just kind of knows his spot.
Yeah.
He wants to play in the NHL. That's still really good money.
Yeah.
And I think he didn't want to risk potentially being squeezed out at some point. So
Sure.
for Nygard, that's big too. Like knowing that for another
has
year, you're going to get $800,000.
Is he back this season, or like what's the deal with
He'll
his
be
hand?
back soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was out 6 to 8 weeks, according to a news report from Zachary Lang.
Who's that again?
I don't know.
No.
Never heard of him.
Just kidding. Lovely beard.
Tyler,
Yeah.
it's time to get your buttons ready
My new buttons.
for the Oodle Noodle Hot and Cold Performers of the Week. Today we did a couple of upgrades to the old Roadcaster, and Tyler's got some new buttons to push. So we're going to start off with the veggies as we always do. The Cold Performer of the Week. I'm starting at the end of the table. Nicholas Good. Who is your Oodle Noodle Cold Performer of the Week?
Oh boy. I always come unprepared to this segment. We know it's coming every week, and we all come unprepared. I'm going to go with, I guess, Darnell Nurse. When I was going through the numbers for the last couple reports on the games.
Morning Report.
Yep.
Starring Nicholas Good
Thank
every day after the Oilers game.
Yes. His numbers haven't been great. All 5 of the other defensemen look pretty good. I mean, Bears obviously suffer a bit, but Nurse's consistent last 2 games have been pretty low. So like his expected goals for being around like 25%. So
That's rough.
yeah. I guess signing that new deal made him a little complacent. I don't know. Anyway, Darnell Nurse. You never know if that's for the actual player or the take.
Yeah, that sounds like it might be aggressive towards Nick.
Is that a bad take?
Rick, your Oodle Noodle Cold Performer of the Week.
I mentioned before, but it's Jujar. I still think there's a lot more of this player there, and I like what he brings to work every day, but he hasn't been able to utilize it, and his confidence hasn't been there 5-on-5, and his penalty killing is not doing so great either.
I was also going to pick Jujar. He's got 0 points in his last 12 games, and
Didn't look horrible last night. Looked a little more visible out there, but
He's got
you expect
9
a lot
shots,
more out of him.
9 shots over those 12 games. Danger Dan, your Oodle Noodle Cold Performer of the Week.
I think I did this guy 2 weeks ago for his
Nice.
Braggart.
He got suspended.
Happy Valentine's
For
Day.
Brendan Manning.
Yeah. So again, it's going to be Brandon Manning, and it's because he came back from his suspension, and his first game just happened to be against the exact same team that he got suspended for the incident. He got absolutely pummeled in a fight against Imama, and then
I hate to see it.
the Condors got fucking pummeled. They lost 10-3 in that game. Brandon Manning, your Cold Performer of the Week.
Conduct detrimental to the team.
Yes.
Tyler, your Remchuk, your Oodle Noodle Cold Performer of the Week.
My Oodle Noodle Cold Performer is one Alex Chason. I think he's just killed them on a bunch of power plays with some boneheaded passes, especially at the offensive blue line. I think he hasn't looked great at 5-on-5 either. He's one of those guys with the injuries starting to pile up. You wanted to see him take a step forward, and he just really hasn't. I know he's not playing on the best line, but at the end of the day, he's a veteran forward who should be bringing more to this lineup. than he is. So I'm going with Alex Chiasson.
Oh, that's cold.
I just think, too, against the game against Nashville, Connor set him up with a wide open net.
Yeah, that too. Like
Wide open.
he's getting looks in front of the net on the power play and just not finishing anything off. His one goal, well, he didn't even really score it. It went off a Nashville guy and in, right? So I haven't liked what I've seen from Chiasson.
My Oodle Noodle Cold Performer of the Week is not so much a player itself, but a guy's general luck. And I'm going to say Matt Benning's luck is just ice cold this year. Last night he took a questionably high hit from Erik Cernak, who...
Forearm shiver.
And it was like one of those hits where Benning is just not having good luck this year. He obviously missed 20 games with a concussion, came back, he got hit with the puck. Well, this is all mixed in together. He got hit with that puck in the head, had to leave again. Last night he takes a high hit, forearm shiver, like Dan said, right to the face. He was getting treatment. I don't think he played again after that hit. So Matt Benning's luck is ice cold. Go out hooking. What a great drop that is.
I know, I love it.
Fantastic. But on to the other side of the ledger, it is the hot performer of the week. So I'm going to do reverse order. We're going to do a little snake draft here. Tyler Yaremchuk, your Oodle Noodle hot performer of the week.
Oh boy, I am getting put on the spot nice and early here. I'm going to go with Josh Archibald, man. That's the guy I mentioned how Chiasson didn't really step it up with the injuries piling up. I think Archibald's continued to play some really, really good hockey, even in a little bit of an elevated role here. That guy skates like a demon. He forechecks hard. He gets offensive chances as well. I just like everything he brings to me. When you think about like an ideal third line player on a really good hockey team, it's a guy like Josh Archibald who can kind of do it all. And he's been doing a really good job of that over the last 7 days. So Archie is my hot performer.
Cash money.
Danger Dan coming to a prospect report.
The number 7 pick in last year's draft.
Oh.
He had a hell of a week over in the MHL, which is a league below the KHL in Russia. In 4 games, he had 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 points. It's Maxim Denizikin.
I used to love Dennis.
One of those
4
guys.
different last names?
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Really big name bar.
I think he's a guy that
It's hyphenated.
you don't really expect much from a 7th round pick, but he's showing some offensive flourishes as he grows on, and I think he'll head up to the KHL probably next year, and we can see what kind of a player we have in him. So Maxim Denizikin.
This is hot.
That was a 4th option.
Rick, your Oodle Noodle hot performer of the week.
I'm going to stick with my little buddy there, Yamamoto. He's proven to be top 6 winger. You always notice him on the ice, whether he has the puck or not has the puck. He makes the most of opportunities. He's doing everything you want from the guy.
Put some respect on my name.
Amen. Amen, Birdman.
Shouldn't that be more for the cold performer? Like put
We'll
some
work on it.
respect on my name.
We're workshopping.
No, but we are
Stop.
putting respect on their name.
No, but he's being like aggro about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Birdman wasn't happy with
I
that.
don't know, man. Don't read too much into this stuff.
Nicholas Good, your Oodle Noodle hot performer of the week.
I have 2, and I know Dan gets pissed off when I do 2. So, Bagnall, do you have one?
I do.
Okay. Can you say yours first, and then I'll see if you pick one of my 2?
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I can. My Oodle Noodle hot performer of the week is
Please don't
the
pick
most
one.
expected person that I could have ever
Yeah,
said.
okay.
It's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Yeah, okay. I should have done that.
The guy has been on straight fire since getting combined with Leon and Yamo. In his last 3 games, he's got 5 points. He's on pace for more than 65 after a horrible, horrible October. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is my Oodle Noodle hot performer of the week.
That's really hot.
Did that take the guy off the board for you? No.
I guess I'll go with Mike Smith then. This is a guy who's really starting to take the starter's net. He played incredibly well in that first period against Tampa Bay. The Oilers had no business being within a goal.
The fact that they were tied after the first, that was all Mike Smith.
Yeah, he made as many high danger saves in the first period against the Lightning than he did all game against Chicago. He's playing well. This guy got dunked on, by me. I thought Koskinen was the clear-cut favorite, but Smith is playing. You know what? It feels like almost he's going to go on almost like a Rolison run here, the way he's playing.
I hope so. I just still wish that he wouldn't get so pissed off about goals sometimes.
I think I think the team likes that though now. I think
I fucking love it.
I think they're starting to rally around that a bit.
Drives me crazy.
He was incensed that stick got knocked out of his hands.
I see what you're saying, Bag Milk, because it sometimes can feel like he's maybe like taking a shot at the defense,
which he does
or
sometimes.
something. Yeah, and that's fine.
Sometimes
but I love how mad he gets because I look at it like he's just mad at Mike Smith for making that mistake.
But
I want my goalie to be a sociopath where he looks like he would just eat somebody and not care at all about it.
Connor feels the exact same way about goals against too. He just doesn't show it.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
I'll shout out Adam Larson too, because this is a guy people keep talking about trading him. Him and Clefbaum have been incredible the last couple games. They've shut down the other team's top players. Their underlying stats have been really good. So Adam Larson, shout out there.
Tyler won't put it on the graphic.
That's fine.
Though.
No, that's fine.
That's hot.
I didn't even get my hot performer put on the graphic last week.
Oh, who was it?
Really?
I don't remember who it was.
Was your name not on the list?
My name wasn't even on the list.
Tyler.
Tyler forgot you were on the show.
Ty guy.
You took 2 weeks off, so he's like, you can have a third one too.
I get it.
Oodle Noodle, hot performer of the weeks.
Shout out to our friends at Oodle Noodle. Go get a hot box. It's delightful. Maybe
You're on there.
Extra spice.
Oh.
Let me see.
BM.
Are you sure?
Oilers pregame.
He's not on the hot side.
I'm not on the
though.
hot side.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who was? Oh, you filled in for. You said Bear, right?
No, that's Rick.
That's Rick.
I got
Rick
credit.
wasn't here
I was
last
at
week,
work.
though.
Rick wasn't there.
Oh, Rick was not
Yeah,
there.
so that one there should have been.
There we go.
Nice call, Rick,
Unbelievable.
on Ethan Bear there.
Yeah.
But
Thank
shout out though to Rick for Ethan Bear. He is fantastic. I didn't Clefbaum him. Clefbaum him all day.
Nice.
I want to change gears a little bit. There's a couple of local scribes, Jim Matheson and the very, very popular athletic featured Bob Stauffer, talking about a possible return of Anton Slepyshev, former friend, played well during the playoff run in 2017. Kind of fizzled out after that, made his way back to the KHL. He is looking good in the KHL this year. He has, I put this together, where did your name go? He has 16 goals and 19 assists for 35 points in 49 KHL games with CSKA Moscow. Does anybody like the idea of Slep coming back, maybe slotting into the bottom six?
This is because we retain his rights, right?
Yep.
That's right.
Okay.
I think he could honestly, if you trade Jujhar Khaira for like a 5th round pick at the draft, and then Slepyshev could be a $700,000 replacement for Jujhar, right?
Could be.
Save yourself $500,000 on the cap.
Jujhar still has 1 year left.
Yeah.
Or you trade Chase on, and Slepyshev just takes Chase on.
Well,
the spot.
you probably have to trade both of those
this
guys,
point.
but
Do you think there would be a taker for Chase on at 2-1-2-5?
Yeah, someone will. He's got 1 year left. Somebody will bite on that.
Question is, can you trade one James Neal?
That's something you got to look at.
That's a very good question.
I don't even think they really want.
Can
You need to.
Can you take that step, that Luch to Neal contract step? Can you do another one this year with shipping Neal out for somebody
Like you
else?
retain $750K of Neal.
No,
and
just
then-
kind of you're just kind of getting that player advancement. Like I don't think maybe not his original numbers what he was looking at, but what we're kind of sitting at right now, maybe a player with 10 extra points or 20 extra points.
Or
Yeah,
he's a
I mean-
guy.
Can you take a baby step here? I don't mean getting rid of the contract entirely, but can you?
Or he's a guy you exposed the Seattle draft.
But
yeah,
we're
because he doesn't have any kind of no trade, so you
Nope, we
can't
only got
expose
3
him
of
to
those
that.
in the team, and 2 are the goalies, and 1 is Chris Russell.
But we're talking about a guy that, like, we're saying we miss on the power play. We're saying that we miss.
you can
then
figure
you can
that
almost-
part out. Imagine what you could do with the money instead.
But you could almost like just, Chase on out, Yamo in, and then,
I don't like Yamo as the net front guy.
I think he's got hands to do. Like I get it from the screen angle because he's not screen. Like nobody gets screened at the waist, but like he's got the hands to play there though.
Sam Gagne.
See, Sammy G's another guy that I could see them bringing in on like a $1 million deal as
they
the
have
13th.
to.
They have a lot of options.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the first summer in a while we're going to see a lot of retention, actually. Because
Yeah,
because we generally seem to let go of like 5 contracts, bring in 5 or 6 more. I think this season Holland has seen what he needs to see, and I'll be interested to see if a guy like Yurko even comes back who's been injured and
No chance.
just gives him
I think he gives him a 2-way contract for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think he takes it though. I don't think a guy like that wants to.
I don't
want
think
to
he
do
has a lot
another
of
year in the
options.
AHL.
I don't think he has a lot of options left, though.
No, I mean go back home.
but like
go
if
back
you're
to
gonna give
Europe.
him a 2-way that only pays him like $100K in the AHL, he'll go play in the in the AHL. He'll go play in the K for
Go play in Europe
900.
somewhere.
Yeah, and well, for people who don't know, he has been injured in the
That's what I
AHL
was
too,
saying,
so he hasn't even really had a chance to establish his game. I don't know. I feel like Ken Holland might have a soft spot for him.
Like the only guys I really see realistically not being on the team started next season would be like Chris Russell if they find a way to move the money, just to move the money.
See, I think they can too because 1.5 real dollars. $4 million cap hit. So a team like that's, I mean, I know the Coyotes are an analytics team, but that's the kind of team that he goes to.
The other thing too.
The other one I was going to say Chiasson and then Jujhar Khaira. Those would be the three that I would see not being here next year.
The other thing with Russell, like people are like, oh, you're never going to be able to trade him. You remember at the draft last year, San Jose traded Justin Braun to Philly and got a second and a third round pick, and Philly took all of that $3.8 million. Like, I think there's an organization out there that will not only gladly take Russell's contract, they might give you like a third for him.
Toronto might even be looking at him now.
Yeah, Toronto might ask you to keep though, because I think they'd rather
seem like the
form
kind of
somewhere
player
else.
that DoPS looks.
See, I would think if Toronto's looking at the Oilers defense, I think they'd be fishing for Larson
or Nurse.
And you're not trading Larson at this point. You can't. If you're on a playoff push, you just can't trade him.
Well, I don't
If you
think they're
move
trading
Larson,
Russell right now.
if you
either.
move Larson, then you got to put Russell in Larson's spot, and I don't want that.
No,
God,
that's a
frightening.
disaster.
Yeah.
I'll move Russell right now if we could, but
I don't think they would either, though. I think you want to keep Russell for a playoff run.
Toronto just lost one of their forward chits too, didn't they?
Yeah, so they're probably not.
Johansson.
Johnson.
Oh, did he get hurt?
Because
Yeah,
the
he just
idea of
went down.
Kasperi
He's out 8
Kapanen,
weeks.
He's out weeks.
8 weeks.
Oh, 8 weeks. Jeez.
yeah, the idea of Kasperi Kapanen being available in Toronto is kind of intriguing.
I mean,
but again, they would want.
I think
Larson.
it gets done at the draft.
Montreal, though, they if Weber's out now for a few weeks, like they still think they have a
Go
chance
grab
of making-
Kovalchuk.
I don't know.
Russell for Covey.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you imagine?
If Neil's out long term, like that could work.
I gotta feel like Montreal's re-signing Kovalchuk. I don't think that they want.
I think they kind of want to.
He's the kind of player that Montreal loves.
Yeah.
I'm
They
just
love
thinking about
Russians.
Kovalev.
Okay, well, give us to him
Seasons.
for a fourth, and you can sign him again in the summer.
Yep, fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. We only have a couple minutes left in the podcast. Oh, actually, we're running over. So I just want to plug a couple of things. Tomorrow, we are back at the Pint. Nation Gear pop-up tomorrow at the Pint downtown from 1 to 5 o'clock. That is Saturday, depending on when you're listening to this. So Saturday the 15th.
And if you come, you get a
Free wing card. Free wings for a year.
Card. You know you want that.
They come in handy. The playoffs are right around the corner.
The question is, though, will there be split screens with the XFL going on?
I could probably find a TV or two to put the XFL. I ain't split screening nothing though.
And I also want to.
Is the game on at all? Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from.
And I also want to thank everybody for selling out the Calgary trip. We sold. This is one of the fastest trips we've ever
it
sold.
was a record.
So
What was it, Dan? 4 days?
4 days, 3 days, depends on how you.
Was it 3 or 4, Dan?
3
Which
days.
time zone are you referring to?
I'll say 3 days because the trip was sold out on the website for about 24 hours.
Nice.
But it wasn't sold out yet.
So I just want to thank all of you for coming down to Calgary with us. At first we weren't sure that we were going to do another trip down to Calgary this season. Demand was there, and you guys came through,
People
crushed
were
it.
just begging for it, and then they showed it with their wallets too. So that's good.
Crushed it. So thank you to every single one of you for booking in on the Calgary trip. It's going to be a great time. Don't skip leg day though. I promise you. Do not skip leg day because going up to the press level at the Saddle Dome is
Work on
a
that
hike.
endurance.
You're going to want to work on your cardio and you're going to want to work on your legs because
stair
it is
climber
a hike
first.
up there. And we've lost many good Sherpas up on that trek. We don't want to lose them again. To finish things off, I just want to end things off.
That was for the Sherpas.
R.I.P. to the Sherpas, man. I just want to thank, of course, Sherwood Ford, the Giant, skipthedishes.ca, and Oodle Noodle for making all of this happen. Go ahead and download, subscribe everywhere, and go on iTunes and rate this podcast. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know that you love me and that you hate everyone else. That's all I'm asking for. Tell your friends, tell your relatives, tell your coworkers. That's all for Oilers Nation Radio, episode 73. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Shout out Damien.
Best wishes. Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media to stay up to date and never miss a podcast.